Stanislaus Ngaira is a retired soldier from the Uganda's army. Having been born to a Ugandan mother and a Kenyan father, Ngaira was lucky to finish his job uninterrupted.
Nilifanya kumaliza contract yangu, hata niko na discharge ya serviceman ya kumaliza jeshi. Miaka 31 nimemfanya kutoka 86. Nimepigana kwa msitu wa Luwero nikiwa katika kikosi cha NRA, tena tukaenda kwa UPDF, sasa imekuja stroke UDF. Hata Somalia nimekuwa wakati ya mwisho.
This despite the fact that he has used cocaine since 1984.
Kwa wakati hiyo, by that time ilikuwa si rahisi kupata. Hata wengi walikuwa waijui. Ilikuwa mtu kama mimi, nilikuwa na marafiki ambao walikuwa ni mabaharia, seamen, ambao walikuwa wakubwa wangu kwa miaka. Nilikuwa na mmoja anaitwa kwa jina Francis Riga Masanga, sasa ni marehemu, ndio alinihusisha kwa hii, ama alinionyesha hii drug, ambapo alikuwa akitoka nayo nje, akija hapa ananiambia, ndugu, wacha hii ya majani, kuna ya kizungu ndio hii, tulikuwa tujui.
He says that the illicit drugs were easy to come by through the Indian Ocean way back before he joined the military in 1986.
So wakidok port ndio watatuonyesha, atakuja nayo anipatie. Siku anaondoka after a week or 2 weeks, nabakia naumwa na sijui kuwa ni zile watu wanaita attack. Nitaumwa kama siku 3 siku 4. Nachukua anti-malaria na kunywa, naona ni malaria ilikuwa inanisumbua. Kumbe there's a secret behind, ni ile drug ile siku nimetumia. Sasa nimekosa, inaanza kunifinya, sasa sipati tena.
But as fate would have it, Ngaira is now a happy man. He vows not to go back to his former. He has currently joined the Miritini Drug Rehabilitation Center a few months ago.
Hata hivi ninapokuambia, my family, bibi ni Muganda, niko na watoto wasichana 2. Mmoja tayari amesha graduate Makerere, miaka 4 imeisha. Jana nikiwa hapa kwa institution, nimekuja kunywa dawa yangu ya methadone, nilipata message kwa simu. Bibi pia tulikuwa tumeanza kukosana kwa sababu ya hii drug. Bibi amenitumia message kuniomba msamaha, juu nilikuwa pia simsupport hata school fees ya watoto. Ameniomba msamaha aliposikia nimeanza hii methadone mwezi wa 10, tarehe 5 ndio nilianza. Sasa niko na mwezi mmoja na siku kama 19. Akasikia even I have changes, hata even my tutors who are here, they are telling me that I have changes, I've changed, I have, nikashukuru.
He is, however, not alone. Several others frequent this center for harm reduction services. Cleopas Tsuma is a secondary school teacher who started using hard drugs since university.
Sasa siku nilivyoendelea, nilivyokuwa kule, sasa sikuacha shule sababu wazazi wangu walikuwa ni mwalimu, babangu ni mwalimu. Nika graduate vizuri. Kuja huku mtaani sasa, bahati nzuri Mungu akanionekania, nika hapa Kongo Secondary. Sasa mtaani watu walikuwa na ile nimerudi kutoka college lakini nimekonda.
The drug menace does not discriminate in any gender. Agnes Njeri has used heroin for a record 17 years. She says she was introduced to this hard stuff, famously referred to as white crest, by her boyfriend.
Friend ambao nilishikana naye alikuwa anauza. Nikaingililia unga upande huo. Hiyo kuonja ile company yake. Sasa nilikuwa nataka kujua ni kitu gani ile, naona watu wanasinzia polepole. Nilikuwa navuta bangi. Nilianza polepole bangi.
Her life situation has been worse, so she says.
Niko na mtoto mmoja, sina mama, sina baba. Nilikuwa na nyanya hata ndo ameaga juzi, 1 month imeisha hivi. Lakini sasa nimebaki na babu yangu na mtoto wangu, na sister zangu wako out of country, wako German. na bradhangu mmoja ndio tuko naye hapa nyumbani.
For now, Njeri is a peer educator, and all that she can say is better late than absent.
Mimi ni peer educator, huwa naenda kule maeneo, naongea na wale client ambao pia waweze kuja kwa hii program, kwa sababu nikiangalia mimi pia imenisaidia, na kuna wale ambao wako kule katika maeneo bado wanavidunga. At least tunaongea nao waweze kutoka kwa hii program, kutoka kwa drugs. Kuna wale ni wagonjwa wako maeneo, unajua wanataka msaada, hawana kwa sababu tulikuwa tumetengwa.
The 3 reformed addicts only represent over 250 that are currently undergoing harm reduction treatment at the Miritini Center. This is according to Mr. Victor Okioma, who's the CEO National Authority for the Campaign Against Alcohol and Drug Abuse.
Get their dose of methadone. Initially, before COVID, we wanted a program that is more inclusive so that you don't just engage at the level of issuing the methadone and that is it. We wanted to keep them around, engage them, play around, counsel them one-on-one and group therapies, give them some food, engage them until about 4 or 5, then we release them. And then when they come the next day, we also continue the engagement. That was the initial plan, but I think COVID came in and therefore we suspended some of those in-person engagements.
He adds that plans are aboard to have Miritini as a center of excellence for drug addicts.
We want to have a center of excellence in terms of management of addiction issues in the region and in the country, right? And that is our vision. But as we wait to see that vision, we are engaging with partners, and currently we are actually in conversation with the UNODC to help us, engage a partner who can support us. There are good indications that Qatar might be coming our way to support the center to help implement our dream.
But as you know, the government has established Miritini Rehabilitation Center, which is set to take its first, patients in January. It will be able to treat and even heal those who have been affected badly by abuse of drugs.
According to a recent survey by NACADA, Coast Region is so much affected with hard drugs.
Kwa hakika tunasikitika sana kwa sababu pwani yetu imeharibika sana, kwa vijana wetu wengi wameingia kwenye mihadharati. Na ukiangalia idadi, ukikompea na kwengine, utajua Coast ndio imezidi mihadharati.
Nasema asilimia kama 29 ya wale watu wote wa pwani at least wanatumia aina moja ya pombe ama mihadarati. Nikisema aina moja ni kwamba inaweza kuwa yule mtu anaweza tumia pombe kama ni mnazi, anatumia bia, anatumia sigara, anatumia bangi. So at least kuna aina moja ya uraibu ambao anautumia, asilimia 29. Hapo ukitranslate inakuja karibu watu 975,000 wa mkoa huu wa Pwani. Kwa hivyo unaona kwamba hiyo sasa imekuwa sasa ni kitu ambacho tunasema kama inakuwa sasa it's like you are sitting on a timetable.
The situation in the coastal region first it's pathetic, it's bad, because the knowledge of drug and substance abuse that we have over the years is incarceration, is beating, is taking them to prison. So changing that narrative has been a challenge to us, and seeing younger people going into drug use, it's really it's hurting me much, because we've missed a generation in terms of building up, in terms of bringing up, in terms of family members accepting that we have a problem of drug abuse, and also having people dying through overdose, through mob justice.
Per county, Mombasa is way ahead.
In the whole country, tatizo la hard drugs sana hapa Pwani sasa sisi ndio tuna lead the whole country. Mombasa, hususan Mombasa, watumiaji wa heroin ni wengi kuliko kaunti zozote hapa Kenya. Hapa tunaongea kuhusu watumiaji wale ambao tuseme wanajidunga heroin karibu katika huu mkoa wa Pwani hapa, kuanzia Lamu mpaka Mombasa mpaka Vanga, tunaongea kuhusu kama karibu 20,000 vijana wetu wanajidunga masindano.
That society, our citizens, our leaders support this fight so that we have a very clean society. In terms of those areas that have been badly affected by this, I think we're looking at Kilifi mostly, the Mtwapa area, Watamu, and of course here in Mombasa, Kisauni, Likoni, a bit of Old Town. If you go to Kwale, Diani, and those are the areas of real focus. Of course, Lamu was a transit area, and because it was initially transit area, it has begun also to suffer that, to suffer the effects of that.
At the moment, there are only 16 accredited treatment facilities which are supposed to serve over 20,000 addicts, with most of them now resorting to injectable drugs. One of the hotspots is GFC grounds of Diani in Kwale County, where we find a conglomerate of youths hustling and haggling over heroin. We hide their faces for legal reasons. Mazembe is your usual peddler, and he explains what his mandate is.
Vuta ni kama vile namtolea akiwa anataka moja ama mbili, anasagiwa na weka kwenye sigara, anavuta. Na wa direct injection namchukulia bomba ambayo haijatumika, iliyo safi, nafungua, namwekea mzigo, namwekea maji kiasi kulingamana na mzigo wenyewe ama stafu wenyewe, alafu nampatia, najidunga, anapona, anakuwa fresh, tunamalizana. Kijembe kuna ile gramu ambayo ni 2,500 ukinunua, ndio hiyo na budget ya kwamba hiyo inregeshe ile hela niliyotoa, na mimi niweze kupata kile chakula cha siku, na wale ambao hawana pia nijue kwamba kwa vile ni mteja wangu, nijue kwamba nitamtibu vipi ili aweze kwenda kutafuta.
Here, there is also an Adolf Hitler who refers to himself as the doctor. His main duty is to inject drug users for a fee. He has been in the game for 7 years.
Udokta mpaka uwe mwangalifu, kwa sababu ukipewa mkono na mwenzako angalia mshipa mzuri, maana ikimisi namtia ugonjwa ambapo utakuwa umemwachia ugonjwa ambapo itakuwa si poa. Sasa paka uwe makini, ujue na mdunga wapi huyu, apone, ende zake katafute, arudi.
Asman Muhammad is the patient who has just received a dose of heroin.
Niko Ulaya. Kwa saa hii nasikia kama niko Ulaya saa hii. Ngoma kinanda hii.
But maintaining this trend is expensive. For some, the use of methadone for harm reduction is still unimaginable.
Kwa siku naweza tumia 2,000, of which is a lot of money kulingana na hii corona. Sasa that is a gram.
Lakini bado hii methadone inatuumiza kiupande mwingine, kwa sababu unaweza tumia methadone kiasi cha 6 months. Alafu ukajisikia tena kurudi tena huku kwa maunga, utumie maunga ambao sasa hiyo tayari inatuumiza kiupande wetu wa afya. Unaweza tumia methadone kiasi cha 6 months, unakosa choo kama 1 week.
The elephant in the room is, however, where these drugs are brought in from.
Kwa kweli huu mzigo na imani hautoki nchini Kenya, unatoka Middle East. Sasa sisi tunapata na watu tu ambao wana uwezo wao, ambao wanaweza kuingiza kwenye nchi. Lakini kwa kweli mimi siwafahamu, tunazipata tu kwa wale wadogo wanyonge.
I think the campaign has been quite successful. You remember, since we began last year around August with the pursuit of the big guns in the war against drugs, we have been able to totally almost eliminate the sale and distribution of cocaine and heroin. What we are now watching and following very closely, and the arrests that we've been doing, center around mostly bang and prescription drugs. What people call bugizi, you know, there are some drugs that the youth like called bugizi. And of course, bangi that comes out of these counties of the coast. But generally, I think the government has been able to fight hard and push out most of those drug dealers. And as you can observe, you really don't see large hauls of the hard drugs around the coast region.
The lack of job opportunities has always been blamed for the use of these drugs, which are so expensive to come by. But is it the case?
Hakika ningekuwa na ajira, sidhani kwamba ningekuwa hapa nilipo. Okay, ninaipongeza sana serikali kwa kutoa msaada wao wa methadone, lakini vile vile narudi ule upande wa serikali vile vile kwamba kama wameamua kutusaidia, basi ni watusaidie pia na kazi za kufanya, kwa sababu dawa ni kweli inafanya shughuli, lakini sasa problem ni kwamba baada ya sisi kukunywa ile dawa hatuna pa kuenda, mwisho wake tunaishilia kurudi kule kwenye unga tunavuta.
And the main factor is lack of life skills and coping skills. So most Kenyans, most individuals, when they go through stressful life issues, they don't know how to address the stressors. So they indulge in alcohol or drug abuse as a way of suppressing their issues. The other main issue is peer pressure. And you know, most teenagers are struggling with self-esteem issues. And when they can't, they feel they really want to fit in. They want to feel they belong. So if their peers are using or indulging in alcohol and substance use, they end up using to be part of that group, to feel they belong, to feel the love. The other factor is availability and affordability of these substances.
She adds that women too are really affected and need help.
I'm majorly affected by substance use, and that does not mean that women are not into it. As statistics show that women are also struggling with addiction, but because of the stigma that faces women in addiction, you know, our society, the African culture, a woman is a homemaker, you know, a person who is supposed to be keeping the home. So it is a shame, it's bad omen for a woman to be associated with alcohol and drug usage. So most women don't come out, they don't disclose that they are struggling with dependence.
Other users have been victims to mob justice and other abuses. And according to Abdurrahman, the trend has been steadily rising. 100 violent cases have been reported since March 2020.
And this is from the community that we are living in, from the law enforcers, from the community of sungu or village elders, or the community of youths who are not using, you know, they mobilize themselves. From the family members, they don't want to see them at home. So these violence are within ourselves, within the community. And we've buried, like for the past 2 years, we've had like almost 50 people who have died into these different levels, maybe succumb to issues of HIV, health deterioration, mob justice, cumulatively.
Reach Out Center is among other entities that are working hand in hand with NACADA to eradicate the abuse of drugs. This is laudable.
Very big time, and this is what we have done, let's say a triplet partnership. County government, national government, and civil society organization. I think this is the first model in Africa to be able to work this way. Because you'll see civil society in Africa working in silos, government working in silos, and now county working in silos. But we have demystified that, and we are working together. In this site at Miritini, we want to appreciate the work that NACADA has been able to spearhead and lead, Kenya Red Cross to support us to be able to be in this partnership, because the support that we are getting from Kenya Red Cross through Global Fund, we've been able to partner now with NACADA and also county government, which is here. So it was like a dream to us, and we were looking at it as a very big mountain.
Others who believe that on issues of drugs, Nakada, we want you to come in and help. But we tell them no, but drug control is devolved, licensing is devolved. You control these things through the way you license. And we have a lot of challenges in the way they exercise their licensing. They are using the licensing mandate to generate revenue, and they are not focusing on the health of the people. As a result, you find the mushrooming of bars, some of them in places that are filthy.
At the moment, the agency is optimistic that the Narcotics, Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Control Amendment Bill 2020 will address some of the inadequacy in apprehending those who aid or conceal drug-related cases.
Well, let me say that the current bill that is before Parliament has been an issue that for us in the authority have been pursuing for some time because of various inadequacies in the bill, in the current act. So you remember the current act was enacted in 1994. Between 1994 and today, the drug networks have become very, very innovative.
He says the leniency in the current act has seen most 2,480 successfully appealed, while for others it has been hard to fix them.
First and foremost, the law is extremely lenient. It does not match the kind of damage that it has caused to our young people in the country. Lenient in terms of the penalties that are awarded for persons trafficking in narcotic drugs, which was basically the scope of that Anti-Narcotic and Psychotropic Substances Act. That was meant to address the challenges of the narcotic trafficking in the country.
Mswada uliotolewa bungeni ni mzuri, lakini wauchukulie kwa dhati. Sio wamesema kisha wachilie. Na wakipitisha mswada huo, wahakikishe unatimiza wajibu wake. Sio kupitisha huku chini mambo ni mengine.
Once passed, it will make it hard not only for traffickers, but also police and law enforcement officers who have been benefiting from the same. The Coast Regional Coordinator, John Elungata, says this is already happening.
In terms of those, law enforcement officers, you talk about national government administrative officers or even the police, those who are supposed to be interdicting drugs but are said to be or found to be working together with the peddlers. I think government has done sufficiently well to remove them from these areas. You remember that last year around August, government moved almost all national government administrative officers and police officers that were in the Kisauni and Nyali areas and also in the Likoni areas.
Cocaine must have come from Southern America. We should pay attention as enforcement officers, and that is the message, to the trafficking networks as we identify victims and help them to access services of the nature we want to introduce here.
But all said and done, it all starts with you.
Na mtu anaweza kuniamulia. Kwa hivyo wale wako nje huko ambao bado wanatumia, naomba Mungu awasaidie muje kwa hii program, muachane na mambo ya drugs.